The Samsung Radioshack 500 on Fox is brought to you by Budweiser. The best things in life are the things that are true. Budweiser.
Hey guys, I'm Jeff Burton. I just want to take a moment just to tell you how much our country appreciates your effort and your energy. You are the heroes of our country. It's not race car drivers, it's not basketball players, it's not football players. It's you guys. You're the heart and soul of our country, and we appreciate the heck out of it.
Jeff Burton currently running 17th here at the Great American Speedway in the Samsung Radioshack 500. Fox welcomes you back live to Texas Motor Speedway. Matt Kenseth, your leader, but moments ago the pass for second place here with Ryan Newman and Jeff Gordon.
It's like right now, Jeff finally got his nose right up underneath Ryan Newman right there coming off the corner. And he's got position on him. He goes in there and Ryan says, I'm going to let him go, and kind of fall in right behind him as he enters this next corner. Got a good fight right there for second. Matt Kenseth better be watching his rearview mirrors, but it looks like to me Jeff Gordon is gaining on him.
And Jimmy Johnson currently running fourth, who had one of the faster qualifying times on Saturday and Friday, but had to move to the back of the pack as it's the bottom of the hour. Recapping earlier, Bill Elliott led for 43 laps, had some engine problems, and Elliott Sadler led for 90-plus laps and actually had an accident running into the wall. And so far, there are guys, a guy like Matt Kenseth trying to be the repeat champ, rather a methodical driver, just sitting, gaining, and waiting as this race has now gone 216 laps.
Yes, he is. And Larry, I tell you right now, this race is really starting to take an interesting turn, isn't it?
Well, and it has that green flag look about it. And, Jeff, I've been looking at when most of the leaders were on pit road at 157. If they can go to 216, which is here right now, that means they can do it from 157 on 2 more stops. And those guys that came in on lap 168, like Bobby Labonte, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jamie McMurray, all those guys, they can easily do it on 2 more stops. And you always have to work this race backwards from lap 334 because, you know, as we've been seeing a lot here, a lot of green flag runs.
And the other thing is, Larry, when you have to make a green flag stop, guess whose pit crew I'd like to have, and guess who's out front right now, and I think could very easily play into who wins this race tonight.
Well, because, exactly. I mean, that 17 group, no kidding.
Exactly. You got to get on and off pit road, but we need to talk about Jeff Gordon, who practiced getting on and off your pit road yesterday under a green flag situation. So this really could be kind of like starting to shape up as a great pit crew and who can get on off pit road as far as who can win this race today. As you see right now, the 88 car is getting ready to go a lap down as far as he's having trouble since he got caught up in that melee on pit road.
Now let's check in with Jeannie Zelasco for an update on the 88 and Dale Jarrett. Jeannie?
And Dale Jarrett radioing in saying, look, it seems like it's not running well down the straightaway. Brad Paradis, crew chief, saying, look, you got a pretty big hole there. It is catching a lot of air. As you mentioned, that right front fender damage during that pit road accident. Mike?
Thanks, Jeannie. One of the 2 drivers that got a lap back on the last caution, Kurt Busch, just lost that lap to race leader Matt Kenseth a bit ago as Jeff Gordon draws a bead on the race leader. Just about a quarter second between them at 180 some miles an hour.
And the slowest part of the racetrack, 160 miles an hour right in the middle of the corner. But, you know, just real quickly talking about Dale Jarrett, the irony of his performance here today, they came here and tested. It looks like his teammate Elliott Sadler benefited from that test and was destined to win this race. I go back to Rockingham when Dale Jarrett won that race. Elliott Sadler, we have a crash. Almost a crash. But they should have wrecked. It was all but a crash.
Bobby Labonte smoking from the right side. And Jeff Gordon took the lead. Now there is Jeff Burton just ahead, the other driver who just got a lap back on the last caution.
Yeah, I was watching the 18 and the 2 there, Labonte and Wallace, and the 18 was trying to get by him every way he could, been putting that nose right up under him. I believe they may have made some contact. There it is right there, Rusty. Wow. Whoa.
That'd like to have been big right there.
Mark Martin's on pit road.
This is part of our regular green flag stops. Mark Martin in the 6, he's the first to come to pit road. And Bobby Labonte definitely looks like he's going to probably have a tire possibly rubbing.
But good time.
Good timing. He'll be making green flag stops. Jeannie.
And of course, Mark Martin talking about the car being a little bit tight there, making air pressure adjustments. The plan right now was to give him 4 tires and fuel and track bar adjustment as well.
Jeff Gordon is the new leader over Matt Kenseth, and he has put Jeff Burton 1 lap down. Here comes Bobby Labonte to pit road with damage from the right front.
And they certainly want to get that thing full of fuel, 4 tires on it. But the biggest thing will be making sure that fender or quarter panel is not rubbing.
Yeah, I don't think he has a lot of damage there, Larry, because they just bumped, you know.
And the leader is in. Here's Steve.
And this stop, it comes earlier than he wanted to pit. They want to check that damage to the right front. Also, Rusty Wallace is concerned about his race car. They'll make a wedge adjustment while they're here on the 18. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Leader Jeff Gordon pits on lap 223, scheduled stop. They're going to pull a tearaway off. Jay Lupo pulls it off. Both sides, the left and right side of the windshield, already going to work on the left side of the car. No adjustments for Gordon. Gordon, please, with the service, 13.4 seconds to Genie Zelasco.
Nice and smooth, nice and smooth. That is what Robbie Reiser is telling his pit crews. The 17 car, Matt Kenseth, comes in. Matt complaining that the car was getting a little bit tight, so they're going to half turn. Back in, he will get 4 tires and fuel.
And again, a little bit of damage to the left rear quarter panel of Rusty Wallace's car. They're going to put a pound of air in the right rear tire. Matt Yoakum with the 48 car.
Steve, a chassis adjustment already on the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. A little bit slow on the left front. Service complete. The car was a little bit tight. The 2 car out as well.
Ryan Newman picks up the lead for the second time today as Jimmy Spencer pounds the wall. He and Tony Stewart got together, and Terry Labonte comes through. Ricky Rudd, Sterling Marlin, all trying to avoid as the leaders will come around to the caution flag.
Now, Ryan Newman was the leader of the race because he had not pitted. Ryan Newman had not pitted. Jamie McMurray, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Green, Johnny Benson, Jerry Nadeau, Ward Burton. A lot of these cars had not been to pit road.
This will shake things up.
Yes, it will.
And that was Jeremy Mayfield just hitting the wall in turn 1 as he tried to get around Jimmy Spencer's stopped car here in the quad oval. 6th caution coming out at lap 226. Tony Stewart and Jimmy Spencer getting together in the front straightaway.
Now, the person this really hurts right here, and we're going to see the replay right here.
Jimmy's push. You see Jimmy's car is pushing up, gets a little bobble to it.
Gets into Tony Stewart just a little bit.
Just in the side of Tony. So just in the last 2 laps, Tony and Bobby Labonte both have had some body damage.
Well, I was just fixing to mention the car this really hurts is Bobby Labonte, because remember, we talked about he could run further than a lot of these guys, but he had to come to pit road because of that damage.
Yeah, and they had to pound that fender out pretty good. And here's Sterling, just barely missing the 21.
Yeah, Terry Labonte spun through it.
Here he comes. He's already out in the grass just trying to get on by.
Just trying to hang on.
Now that may mess up the front air dam right there. That's a big bump.
I'd say it did.
Now here comes the leaders to pit road that had not pitted. Ryan Newman in the 12, Jamie McMurray, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Green, Johnny Benson, Jerry Nadeau, and Ward Burton. These guys were scheduled to make green flag stops, but the caution came out. Dale Jarrett as well.
Matt?
And Ryan Newman was just scheduled to hit pit road. They waved him off when the 7 spun on the front stretch. They've got the wrench. They're going to put it in the back window. They are going to make a chassis adjustment for Newman.
3 to go.
To Steve.
Matt, left side tires coming off the 30. Jeff Green saying that the car is just a little bit too tight. They do have a little damage on the left front as well. They pulled that out. Earnhardt Jr. out as well.
Timing is everything. 9 cars that had not been to pit road are suddenly the only cars on the lead lap. Let's ride with Ricky Rudd through this. All right, let's slide with Ricky Rudd through this.
The way he turned around, I think he must have got hit in the rear because he just all of a sudden spun around as if somebody got into him.
Well, we're so lucky more cars was not involved in that one.
Now Jeremy Mayfield, who ended up on the tail end of this. Whoa! Now Ricky Rudd's race cam. And the damage to Mayfield's car. Right rear.
You know, last week Rudd was avoiding an accident, got into Tony Stewart. This week he's avoiding one, gets into the 19. And had a very good 2 weeks.
The complexion of this race has surely changed. We'll update who's where when we come back to Texas.